Hello and welcome to this conversation hosted by 4theRegion. I'm Dawn Lyle. We're bringing together a group of people to talk about skills, and this is part of a series of conversations that we'll be hosting over the next few weeks and months in the run-up to the Regional Green Economy Conference, which will be taking place on the 22nd of November in Swansea Arena. And the intention with that conference is to bring together people, businesses and organisations from across South West Wales to talk all things green economy. And skills is one of the key themes and key discussion areas around how we really grow our green economy, capitalise on the opportunities that are emerging, and make sure that we have a resilient and flourishing economy for the long term here in South West Wales. I'm delighted to have Rob Holcroft with us. Robert is Development Coordinator for the Regional Learning and Skills Partnership.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, so we've identified quite a few things for emerging economies. And through the Swansea-based City Deal Skills and Talent Programme, we've now authorised quite a number of projects. Where there's a pilot programme happening in Pembrokeshire for Passport to Employment within the renewable sector. That's open for students aged between 5 and 19 years old at Pembrokeshire College. And the idea of that is just getting them ready for the renewable sector and giving them a good idea of the opportunities around the area and sort of engaging and enthusing that career pathway. We're also doing a low carbon net zero awareness raising pilot, and that's going to be around construction for all built environment related courses. In Neathport Talbot, we're doing a careers in the digital sector pilot. So we're really wanting to demonstrate the wide range of digital skills which are going to be needed. This is all underpinned with green economy. We're doing a 21st century skills in construction. This is focusing on the net zero aspect of construction and green construction. Battery manufacturing in Swansea, which will be happening there. We've also created Net Zero and How Green Was My Valley programme, which is a train the trainer. So it's raising awareness for teachers across the region to talk positively about skills within the net zero arena. 5G technologies training happening at University Trinity St David's, and that's just going to be a 5G centre of excellence with the 5G rollout, which is going on with the Swansea-based City Deal. Pembrokeshire Future Skills for Land and Sea. This is split into certain strands. The first three are going to be around maritime. This is going to be particularly interesting with the free ports and things which are coming up there. University Trinity St David's, we're also doing a construct net zero. So this is creating more of an ecosystem to enhance and improve the skills which are required within the climate change and construction again. Some of these do have a little overlap, but they are quite different. And building the next generation futurescape. Now these last two are very exciting. So it's about immersive and engaging learning experiences with years 6 to 7 students. So we're quite excited about that one. And we're also doing VR and AR technology training centre at University Trinity St David's as well, which again we're very excited about that one too, because we do see that these digital skills are going to be quite fundamental for the green economy. So that's about where we're at the moment. These projects have all sort of come out from the research that we've done with the RLSP and skills gaps which are going to be required, and trying to engage with the next generation workforce which are coming through and raising awareness of these new skills which are going to be required.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. A really important raft of projects there that are being supported and taken forward, and really great to hear that there is so much activity taking place, and we've got partners in the room to perhaps tell us a bit more about those projects. I'll run through a quick raft of introductions so that we know who we have here with us today. We've got Jackie Matthias and Arwen Williams here on behalf of Pembrokeshire College. We've got Bruce Fellows from Gower College Swansea and Andrew Selby, also from Gower College. We've got Catherine Dunstan from NPTC Group. And then we've got Sue Poole on behalf of Young Dragons, and Donna Griffiths from Bouygues, who I know is involved in those sort of future skills projects, and Rachel Cook joining us from University of Wales, Trinity St David. So good organisations involved in lots of skills initiatives to try and prepare young people for these opportunities that Rob has sort of outlined there. Can we come to Pembrokeshire College first of all about this really great pioneering project that you guys are taking forward, and we'd love to have some more detail.
So yeah, the first strand is working with secondary school students who are they finish school on a Friday afternoon, and they come to us for a GCSE equivalent programme where they learn about renewable energy and they have sessions with industry. That's been really popular. We've worked with 2 secondary schools in Pembrokeshire, and we've got about 27 students engaged in that. The second strand is a skills barometer, working with primary schools. The local education authority is leading on that for us. And we're developing materials to fit in with the new curriculum for Wales, so that the teachers have materials and content and activities to work with the primary school children around raising awareness around the sort of opportunities in the green sector ahead.
So getting in really quite early then, talking to quite young children about the future opportunities, and that's clearly important, isn't it, to start people thinking as early as possible?
Absolutely, yeah, and it's also about engaging with parents, because the parents need to understand the potential careers that their children can possibly go for, which are new opportunities and exciting opportunities, and possibly jobs we're not even aware of at the moment, or definitely jobs we're not aware of at the moment. We're also working with the Sarah network to try and provide some sessions and activities across the region to try and maybe encourage those more able and talented learners at the age of year 11, the age of 14 and 15, to try and understand more about the sector. We have a robotics club where primary school and secondary school children are coming in to the college to learn about coding robots, from very basic up to quite advanced sort of functions of robots. And then finally, part of that project was Destination Renewables, which is a program which we're running with our level 3 learners, the 16 to 18 learners, and they've engaged with about 25 industry partners from around the renewable energy sector, coming in and doing interactive, engaging sessions with the learners, so they're getting lots of exposure to what the sector and what it's like to work in the sector, and what the range of jobs from project management to procurement to community engagement to actually engineering or construction. So that's been a really successful program, and we're now as part of the next skills and talent bid, we've been successful in gaining some funding to roll that out across other colleges in the region. So over the next month or so, we'll have more detail on that to send out to colleagues around the table here and wider afield as well. So we'll be offering all the materials needed to deliver some sessions around renewable energy. And that includes offshore, solar, onshore, hydrogen, battery storage. We've tried to encapsulate everything, with the idea that the local colleges then will engage with their local industry that is relevant to them in that sector, to enable them to kind of give a similar experience to what we've done, but obviously with a slightly different sort of slant to their region. And that's all supported through the Skills and Talent Fund, and our industry partners, Gwent Glass, who are DP Energy and EDF, are supporting that as well. So they're the kind of projects that we've got running at the moment. We've obviously got lots of discussions going on. I know we've met with Catherine many times, and we've been to East Coast College to see what they're doing. We've been to the Equinor Operations and Maintenance Centre to see what the actual jobs look like on the East Coast, because we know that they're about 10-15 years ahead of us, and we need to be able to provide a similar kind of service here. So yeah, it's an ever-changing field, but there's lots of exciting opportunities. So, diolch.
Yeah, thank you, Owen. Yeah, it is a fast changing world, isn't it? And the skills that are needed to really capitalize on these huge opportunities for our region, like offshore floating wind, and the energy sector clearly has always been important in Pembrokeshire, but it's equipping young people with the aspiration and the skills, and really just the awareness of what's coming down the line. You mentioned Neath Talbot College, and Catherine, we'd love to hear from your perspective. Where is Neath Talbot active in terms of preparing young people for these sort of future skills, and what's your focus at the moment?
Yeah, thank you, Dawn, and yeah, thank you, Owen. We've had some exciting conversations with Pembrokeshire and a really interesting visit as well to the East Coast. So it's the changes are leading to uncertainty that we are seeing, and that's I suppose the change and uncertainty go hand in hand. But that's what we're finding at the moment. It's very difficult to pin down what's going to be needed, and the messages coming through to us from our engagement it is certainly supporting that, you know, that yes, we can see lots of opportunities come in, but nothing tangible quite at the moment because nothing's quite there. But also then how are we preparing for something that we don't really know what it's going to look like in each of our regions? But one of the exciting projects we've been doing at the moment is part of the Homes as Power Stations, which is part of the Swansea Bay City deal, and we've been involved in that and working with partners such as Moby and the Supply Chain Sustainability School, where we are managing the training programs through them and through developing resources and so on for schools and colleges to be able to share. So that's one of the exciting things going on, and that will lead on to our Net Zero Academy, which we're launching in the autumn as well. What we're finding there's that dual aspect, isn't there? There's the adult learners and the upskilling of existing employees, which we need immediately to fill the sort of short-term gaps that we've got in the labour market at the moment. But it's also tapping into that sort of Gen Z environmental conscience, if you like, so that they can actually develop green careers out of that sort of awareness and so on, and to showcase sort of career pathways that are suitable for them for that. And I think the greatest distinction we need to make is the difference between green jobs and green skills. So that's a sort of one of the messages that we'll be putting out through the Net Zero Academy, and showcasing the sort of breadth of opportunities available to young people to develop sort of that career pathway that they need, as well as looking at the immediate skills gaps that we need in the sort of construction phases of our offshore wind and our onshore wind and all our renewable stuff, hydrogen and all sorts. So retrofit, domestic retrofit, energy assessment, all that sort of immediate stuff, as well as then the long-term building the sort of capacity, if you like, for sustainable careers, if you like.
Thank you, Catherine. Bruce, can I come to you from Gower College and share with us where Gower College is active in terms of these future skills?
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so I'm looking after a wide range of parts of the college, but including the energy centre that we've got at the College of Shandrew as one of the managers there. So we do get involved in certain things. So we're doing sort of solar thermal, heat pumps, air source and ground source. We do solar PV charging. We also do the battery storage, electrical vehicle charging and servicing, e-bike maintenance. But there's a wide range of things, but we are looking to grow into do things with wind turbines, hydrogen, tapping in and sharing things with, you know, Neath and Pembroke, etc. And looking at rainwater harvesting as well. So there's a range of things that we're looking at. Some of the staff are on courses to understand some of this more, because it's ever changing, and you know, we can see a big future. Obviously, you've got the free port of Talbot as well, where Neath Talbot and ourselves and Pembroke will all be involved in that as well. So there's those opportunities there. We are looking to do more with it. We've got a lot of projects with schools with the built environment and with digital courses, but not so much in the green energy yet. So we still need to involve schools more, like Owen was saying earlier as well, trying to get more involved in the schools and getting awareness there of not just the students from schools, but also the parents as well, because parents are still very influential in what their children do. And I think if they get the better understanding about green skills and green careers, and then if they've got the parents on board, that will help as well. The younger ages make the decisions in for their career choices, and also get more people involved in built environment. We're now doing the A-level in built environment as well, and see as a really good future sort of career for them. But with the digital, we're doing some of the things that Alan was saying as well. So robotics and Lego, coding, VR. We're inviting both primary schools and secondary schools in for sort of taster days to get involved in that, which has been really good. Also esports, which isn't directly involved with this, but that's been very popular as well. Andrew, have you got anything?
I think we're on the right page with regards to the discussion that's going on. I certainly see preparing young people as the right way to go, particularly at the primary school level, to encourage people in terms of what's ahead of them. I think Aaron mentioned we don't know what jobs are out there yet, and that's absolutely right. But the upskilling side of it, at the moment, we see a massive demand. We've put something like 300 people through our photovoltaic and energy battery storage system course over the last 18 months. We've been running 2 courses a month on that. So the upskilling side of it is a huge market. Wind turbine, as Bruce mentioned, we're into that. And obviously hydrogen is beginning to play a large part, where there's pilot schemes already happening in the east coast of England. And I think, understanding what is required from a school level, how that feeds in, is something that's really critical to the future success of South Wales in particular. I see the biggest issue that we've got, though, is there isn't anything that specialises in renewables. You've got a mixture of plumbers and electricians coming through being trained with bolt-on courses, which we currently offer. But the skill sets, I think, going forward, there's an urgent need for a renewables apprenticeship and a pathway maybe for more advanced people, students, to have maybe into a degree level as well. There's definitely a need, and that's my largest concern, really. It's all well and good supporting the market with the current upskilling levels that we are doing, but it's identifying the needs and what needs we can have for pathways for career development for younger people.
And you can definitely see that there's a real demand for these skills in businesses now, but it's planning for the long term. I mean, Rachel, from the perspective of University of Wales Trinity St David's, obviously offering degree programmes in a wide range of topics. Andrew there has talked about the need for kind of renewable energy specialist degree level courses. But tell us a little bit about what's happening at the University of Wales Trinity St David's. I think you're particularly involved in kind of the construction side of things.
Yeah, so apologies, but probably my conversation will be quite sort of construction heavy, but across the university in terms of addressing climate change, net zero, renewables and skills for the future. Just across the way here, we've got our engineering department that are working with industry to address their current needs. So looking from a business perspective, a design perspective, and investing a lot in equipment to fulfill those skill gaps. So not just addressing one company's needs and saying, okay, we've helped one, but then developing training from that and then spreading that out across the rest of similar industry then to help them fulfill their needs. So kind of creating bespoke training courses that can be adapted then to different business needs. And that's sort of where we're trying to look inwardly then and do a similar model within sort of the construction element here. So as part of the university, we look at, we work quite closely with our subcontractors and with industry to sort of understand what their needs are. And it's very much iterated in what everyone's talked about here in terms of net zero, renewables, digital skills. And one of the things that we've been focusing on within QUIC, the Construction Worlds Innovation Centre, is how we can address those needs imminently, especially with the urgency with climate change, understanding, again, the words career pathways, green careers. For us, one of the things that we've been looking for within this Construct Net Zero project, which is a concept that was put together sort of pre-COVID out of QUIC, and has probably now really come to fruition with the energy crisis, with more focus on climate change, with businesses sort of seeing it as more of a need now. So what we're looking at with the Construct Net Zero project is looking at current work profile, so individuals who are already in industry and understanding their role within sort of this green career. So we're not creating new job roles, we are taking existing job roles and getting them to understand the importance of their role in the bigger picture. So essentially within the fabric first approach is what we're looking at with Construct Net Zero, the importance of doing the job right first time and understanding where they sit then within the whole fabric first then of that project. So we are focusing on new build and retrofit and creating a suite of 8 mini pick a mix courses, for want of a better word, that will consist of building envelope design, MMC, passive solar, building physics and performance, mechanical and renewable heat and ventilation, building assessments, so looking at performance, evaluation, insulation, air tightness, and as well as smart building technology. So to kind of go back to where we're saying about the technology side of it, we are looking to deliver these suites of courses in tandem with a lot of equipment and kit that we have with post projects, and bringing together some of our key partners that we've been working with. So we have a unit that is with us at the moment, which was built in collaboration with Zero Homes, which showcases different renewables. So we've got PV solar, we've got car charging points, we've got smart technologies in there. I'm trying to think of all the different stuff that we've got now off the top of my head. Built-in performance evaluation kit. It's a portable unit that we can take around to showcase how these are used on site, how they're actually being installed at the moment. And the audience for these courses is from school level. We've got individuals who are on construction courses, which includes right the way up from FE and HE, includes educators, and sort of anyone really that needs to sort of understand what these different roles and where they fall within industry. So we can tailor each of the courses to the audience. So they could be formed as half day or full day courses, where we can give sort of an overhead sort of understanding of what, say, build an envelope design looks like, or we can kind of really delve into the nitty gritty. But what we want to do when we're delivering these is give some real hands-on training. So we're not training individuals who have competency in doing any of this, but we're giving them the most up-to-date information with industry experts. And we want to deliver this then sort of across the board. So in the submittal for this Construct Net Zero, we've consulted with FE and HE pretty much across Wales, although we understand that sort of the initial delivery will be within sort of initially the Swansea Bay City Deal region. But the idea being is that as this starts to develop and the content is developed and the connections, that it can be widely used. And with some of the equipment that we've got, we've made sure that we've made it portable. So that unit that we've spoken about, we can take it out into industry, we can take it out into the colleges, we can have it here in-house with us down at SA1 in Quick. And some of the other units that we've had developed, we just had a really successful wood build conference up in Lampeter last week, where we were showcasing some of this kit. So we've got air tightness rigs and models, passive house design models where we can demonstrate air tightness and best practice when we're looking at taping. And some of these skills and the feedback we were having from industry is we're still not doing this right on site. We've got individuals and subcontractors that do this day in, day out, and we still get problems with it. And they're kind of those things that kind of sit behind walls or internal envelopes that we don't see until we come to testing that property, or the property is in use, that we find that there's problems. So it's kind of not beating industry with a stick and saying, you're doing this wrong, but let's have a look at it. Let's get an understanding of why this is important in the big picture. And again, talking about different uses of materials. So we have insulation blowing kit that will come here. So we can get students, we can get learners, we can get educators hands-on. We've got some units, we can blow this insulation, we can test different materials, we can look at it in situ and do some energy performance evaluation on it. So it's very tangible, it's hands-on, portable, and again, we want it to be accessible for everybody. And that's kind of the things we're looking at. And again, it's pick a mix. industry can pick one course and leave it be. We can do the suite of 8 of them. There isn't a sort of credits. There's no sort of qualification to it at the end, because we want it to kind of be sharp and precise and sort of to the point and deliverable easily for industry and partners.
We've got Donna Griffiths here from Bouygues, clearly a well-established construction company. And Donna, Bouygues are involved in a number of projects, but particularly one that's engaging with schools and young people about 21st century skills. Tell us a little bit about where Bouygues is at with some of this, and perhaps reflect on some of what Rachel has shared about the challenges for the construction sector.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a really interesting conversation so far. So thanks for all your contributions. It's really fantastic to hear everything that's going on across the education sector. Lots of it around upskilling and, as was mentioned, sort of bolt-on and add-on courses. I think there's definitely a need for a lot more education around parents, teachers and influencers, so Careers Wales staff, for example, those people that have an influence on young people and on the choices that they make. Green skills and green jobs are, you know, a relatively new terminology, and I think parents are unsure about how to encourage their children and how to encourage maybe transferability of skills within colleagues to consider this as a job for the future, as a long-term proposition. But when you look at the number of construction projects happening in Wales at the moment, and as was mentioned, we are involved in 3 projects within the Swansea Bay City Deal region. And one of those is actually refurbishment. So we see repurposing and refurbishment of buildings as a key business line because of the net zero carbon aspirations of our business. And actually, yeah, like I said, we see that as a huge opportunity across Wales, considering the number of buildings in Wales that are historic and traditionally built. Then there is a different set of skills required for those, but definitely repurposing and refurbishment to achieve that net zero carbon does require a different skill set. So I think education is really important. Educating young people, and it's fantastic to hear. I think it was Pembrokeshire that mentioned that they're doing curriculum, designing lesson plans around the new curriculum at that really young age. So yes, really, really inspiring to hear some of those things that are going on. We're actually working with, we started yesterday, it was a first cohort of young people, which is a project that we are working with the Regional Learning and Skills Partnership to deliver a real world life work experience to a cohort of young people in Llanelli, providing those with really hands-on experience. They will be given an opportunity to be part of the Pentre Hour project, and that's going to be really fascinating to watch how that programme develops over the next sort of 10 weeks, and then how we can build on that and share that knowledge with industry across the region so that we can have more collaboration.
Thank you, Donna. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to learn more about how that works. And I'm really getting a sense in the room, actually, and I suppose this was the intention, Rob, that these are a raft of pilot projects, aren't they? And the intention is to kind of learn from each other and develop what works into longer term skills programs. Rob, would you like to come in on anything following what we've heard there?
Nothing specifically. It sounds like we're doing the right things and going in the right direction. So certainly, I think it would be nice if things could be a little bit more mainstream, perhaps, rather than siloed. And yes, we work together and perhaps develop them more mainstream. The only thing I would say, and I'm not beating industry over the head with a stick, but we've talked a lot about engaging young people and engaging parents. I think we also need to engage industry. We can create the skills, we can create the skilled workforce, but if those jobs aren't available because industry aren't moving at the pace which they need to, then obviously that creates a bit of a stagnation. So I think we also need to get industry moving at a pace on this as well. Construction are very, very far down the line, but could be going faster. And other industries are lagging behind at the moment. So I think we also need to spread that word far and wide.
Absolutely, I agree. Industry could be moving much quicker, and there are pockets of really good practice, but it isn't widespread, as you say. A lot of that actually comes down to businesses that want to be much more forward thinking and see this as an opportunity. But actually, sometimes you're hampered by contracts and what public sector demand and ask for, and also by budgets. So it's a follow circular thing. You know, clients need to understand what they're asking for. There needs to be budgets available to pay for that, and then industry will react because they want to win the opportunity.
I agree with you, Donna, and entirely. I agree with you, and I think procurement is a key factor. And I think the people creating those procurement documents also need skills in order to create that as a key factor. I was more referring to some of our SMEs who may need some assistance, obviously bogged down in the day-to-day work, probably too proud to ask for help, shall we say, and may need some assistance and some guidance on pathways available to them, which could obviously also help the supply chain for yourselves as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point, and such key opportunities for SMEs across our region to really embrace some of these new sectors, new ways of doing things, and upskill themselves and bring on new people with these skills. And we'd love for smaller businesses across our region to recognise the opportunities that exist for them to grow and develop their businesses over the future months and years.
There's a lot of activity happening already in the region for green in the green sort of sector, with you know, all the heat pumps and solar PV and the wind, you know, the wind turbines that are being installed, and they're not all small scale, you know, some of them are quite significant. So there are many companies in the region that are already struggling to recruit individuals with the skills. So I'd urge everybody to try and engage with those local companies that are already in that sector. The bigger projects that are on the horizon around the Celtic Freeport and offshore floating wind and the RWE net zero centre, etc. You know, those projects are absolutely massive, and they measure the projects in billions, not hundreds of millions. So you know, those projects are fairly long term, and you know, we're probably a couple of years away from anybody getting a lease in the Celtic Sea for the main projects. I know we've got test and demonstration sites now, but it's for, you know, there's quite a lot of research that's gone into those areas already. So you know, Celtic Sea Power have produced a piece of research for SWIC. ORE Catapult have already done quite a lot of research in the skills required around offshore, but also with hydrogen, and RWE are actually doing their own piece of work at the moment to try and establish what the skills are for the future. So some of those key documents are really quite important for us maybe in the next couple of years to be able to plan ahead. But we are at that tipping point where it's chicken and egg really, to be able to invest too much in actual skills delivery. Most of the work we're doing at the moment is awareness raising, which is preparing people for the future, and then we need to be able to turn to the next stage then, which will be delivering specific courses for industry that meets their needs at that time, and apprenticeships and of course all the HE, the masters, the PhDs that are needed to try and innovate to be able to actually introduce this new technology, refine it, improve it, and develop it over the next 10 to 20 years. So some really good comments there, and I think it all shows that we're all sort of looking at the same things and trying to do the same things. And I'm pretty, I'm pretty confident that I'm actually working in collaboration with everybody here today. We are doing the right things, and the collaboration is absolutely key, because not one institution or centre can do all of this. It's about working together to make the most of it for the region, because we're a fairly small region, and a lot is happening in our region now, and we need to make the most of it for the whole community and our young people. So yeah, please, let's continue collaborating as we have been. It's fantastic. Diolch, thank you.
Yes, Arwen, good point, and great to hear that the connections are being made across the region. Catherine from MPTC Group, let me bring you in again.
Yeah, thank you, Dawn. And yeah, fully endorse what Arwen's saying, really, and picking up as well on the strand with Rob. What's becoming clear to me is there's two sort of conversations going on, isn't there? It's about the long-term strategic planning for some of the bigger projects that are coming through and engaging with the young people. But there's also the immediate problem that we've got with our SMEs in particular, who aren't ready for this sort of tsunami of skills that's going to be demanded of them. One of the challenges we're finding is that, SMEs have full order books at the moment, so that they're not thinking maybe longer term to some of the newer skills that they're going to need, but it is going to hit them soon. And one of the barriers we're finding there is the PLA funding, the employer strand of PLA funding, where they could access, courses on block for a number of employees in one application, was much more simpler than the sort of thing that it's been replaced with now with individuals. So that funding is a barrier for small, medium businesses in particular. But as I said, at the moment, their order books are still full, so they're not seeing it as an urgent need either.
Yeah, which is a shame, that clients aren't demanding that already, and I think, as you say, it will become a priority for them. But hopefully, ideally, we'd like them to prepare for that. But it's so busy when you're running a small business to take time out for something that doesn't feel essential yet. And this is something we hear all the time. Rachel from Trinity St David.
I think there's so many cross-cutting themes just in talking today at how we can work together on these different projects to help one another. We always talk about not reinventing the wheel and helping each other out. So I think it's really good. And as industry, we are terrible within construction and education in sharing best practice. We are very we keep everything to ourselves. It's very competitive. And I think given the climate crisis and where the skills crisis is within industry, we really need to sort of change the culture within construction education so that we do work together and come forward, because that urgency of this change needs to happen now, and these skills are an issue right now. We can't afford to keep building the way that we're doing with faults and mistakes and not sort of preparing it for the future. So I think we need to advocate what everybody's doing, shout and say, really good work, and really support one another. I think going forward when we're doing good work. And from an SME perspective, yes, they are struggling. I think there's a piece of work here that definitely we'll be looking at these skills at education and educators with clients, with Welsh Government, with local authorities, to get them to understand the importance. I definitely think that we bash construction quite a bit in terms of saying, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. They can only do what they are instructed to create. And so much of our time is spent looking at value engineering, where items or aspects are taken out of projects because of funding 9 times out of 10 and costs. So I think we need to really something that we're trying to take seriously here at the university is sort of practice what we preach. We're now looking at a lot of the projects that we're coming out to the university in terms of buildings. The first question we're asking ourselves at the moment is, should we build? What Donna was saying earlier, that we have a lot of infrastructure, which is old buildings from our university campus, that sit idle and we don't do anything with. In Wales itself, in terms of old historic buildings that are not used. So we're asking ourselves, should we be building new? Should we be looking at retrofit and those skills around that?
We've talked a lot about construction skills. We've talked about the renewable energy sector, which is obviously really key for South West Wales and hopefully a great opportunity for our economy going forward. There are, of course, loads of other green skills that are needed, and not least in things like horticulture and food growing and 21st century farming, and all of that will be really important. Land management and environmental consultancy, huge opportunities in those sectors. But I also want to think about enterprise and the businesses of the future. And Sue Poole from Young Dragons does a lot of work with children in schools, and a great competition for young people every year, testing their enterprise ideas. And I wonder, Sue, whether you're seeing among those kids that you work with that desire to build their careers in the green economy and in these sort of future sectors.
Probably a great time to speak to me, because we've just completed our Swansea Enterprise Challenge on Tuesday with a big celebration event in the Brangwyn Hall. 3 weeks ago, we had over 500 young people coming to Castle Gardens, Castle Square, to sell their wares they've been making in school, which was always a fantastic event. But the unbelievable amount of young people who are so focused on climate change, looking at they don't call it the green economy, of course, they just want to save the planet, but they're making, and the teachers, I've got to say, they were making products out of reusable materials, whether that was things they found in the school, they were growing plants and selling those. So I was really thrilled to see what is happening out at primary schools. Today I've been asked to come and just talk about the project that we just had the go-ahead through the city deal, which is the Futurescape. That was mentioned a little bit earlier by Rob. And we'll be using virtual reality in the classroom to introduce young people to the variety of roles within the construction sector that they are absolutely not aware of. So young people don't know what they don't know, and certainly at 11 and 12 years of age, many of the jobs, I think somebody said it earlier, many of the jobs that they will be taking on in their future perhaps are not even, in existence as yet. So we'll be using virtual reality headsets. We're having some software developed which will take young people into the construction world, and they will be walking through construction sites, meeting various different people undertaking roles they've never heard of. They don't know what they are, so they'll be engaging with them in a very interactive way. I wanted to bring in the future, and that's why the project's called Futurescape. I wanted to bring future skills within the classroom, but I think we have to engage teachers and parents as well to introduce them to all the skills that are needed in the future, but using virtual reality, artificial intelligence to do that. I've been using AI for the last, I think, 14 months. And it is a game changer in everything we do. And we want to bring young people into the 22nd century and show them what is available for them and skill-wise. So very excited. And I definitely want to meet with everybody around the table, because there's some fantastic stuff going on at the minute. We don't want to reinvent the wheel, as somebody has also said, and just to enhance and add value to what's going on across the region.
Super exciting. Thanks, Sue, for sharing a little bit about that project, and it'll be great to see that moving forward. And it brings in the digital, which, as you say, is such a fast changing space. Really understanding those future skills and collaborating across the region is going to be so important. So great to hear from all of you today, and thank you for taking the time to come and share a little bit about your project. We hope that you'll all be part of the Green Economy Conference coming up on the 22nd of November. That will be an opportunity for people, businesses and organisations across the region to have these conversations and share what they're up to. The point has been made already, but collaboration and working together across South West Wales is going to be key. We've got huge opportunities to capitalise on, big cultural and economic shifts happening that we need to be ready for. And while there are obstacles and challenges to get this all happening as quickly as it needs to, it's great to see this raft of interesting pilot projects supported through the Regional Learning and Skills Partnership and in collaboration with City Deal to blaze a trail, to shine a light and help us all understand a little bit more about the opportunities for the future. So thanks very much for taking part in today's discussion. It's been great to hear from all of you, and thank you for those of you listening in to today's discussion. I hope it's given you something to think about, and spread the word for young people and parents that you know that these skills are going to be so important and the opportunities are there for young people across our region. That's it from me for today. Thank you all very much. Bye for now.